what is cemetery etiquette? Because obviously, if you're doing magic, there's always etiquette and there's always morals. Even though a lot of people will not agree with me, there are definitely fucking morals and there are definitely fucking etiquette. It comes. A lot of people have no fucking decorum, no class, okay? They're out here just doing shit left and right, don't know what they're doing, don't know who they're fucking with. So let's talk about some etiquette, okay? And we can talk a little bit about morals when it comes to working with the element of the dead, of the cemetery. There is a purpose and a reason as to what you're going to be using this for, right? You don't just go around snatching up dirt, from the graveyard, hexing and cursing people, having no clue what you're doing. There's always etiquette. Okay, so first things first, when you are a beginner and you're wanting to learn how to do certain things, you're wanting to understand certain things when it comes, the most important thing when you are going into a graveyard is to bring offerings, okay? Offerings are very important, and that can be liquor, that can be coins, that can be flowers, that can be fruits, right? If this is you're just a beginner and you're just wanting to learn how to do certain things, okay, then you can definitely just bring some kind of offering. Bring something. You don't ever show up. It's like showing up to somebody's house, right? And not coming in like with something, like with an offering. Like, that's rude. Just because a lot of people think that they're resting, it does not mean that the spirits of the dead are just like not conscious or anything like that. So always bring an offering. And when you come to the gates, you always want to salute the spirits of the gates, right? Ban la croix, and you don't have to practice voodoo, but you're saluting the spirit of the gate, the guardian of the gate, the guardian of that realm. There are different kinds of spirits that govern the cemetery, that govern the graveyard. This is a whole element within itself. You don't have just basic elements when you do spiritual work. It's not just water, it's not just fire, it's not just earth, right? There are other elements that exist that have its own work. That's what alchemy is understanding that sometimes you can fuse multiple elements, right? Because the spirit of the cemetery is a mixture of the earth and a mixture of spirit put in together, which makes its own element within itself. And you can use that when you do your work, when you're doing alchemy, when you're doing brujeria, witchcraft, when you're doing any kind of work, cleansing, justice, whatever it is, right? Protection magic. If you have, especially if you have a family cemetery, okay? If you have a family cemetery, then that means that you you have a gain compared to other people. You have a advantage to other people if you have a family cemetery that you can use. But if you are just starting out, you're not comfortable. And I always try to ease people into necromancy because I don't want people who feel called to do it to shy away from it or to be scared of it. It is one of those spiritual practices that's just misunderstood. A lot of people use it for bad, but you can use it for good. You can use it for a lot of different things. But I personally preferably use it for more of lighter, energetic magic and alchemy, okay, whenever I'm doing some kind of crafting. So first things first, leave an offering. You always want to leave an offering when you come. You do not come to somebody's house and not have an offering. You leave your offering. Make sure you're coming during the daytime. Make sure you're coming, with your offerings, and you're asking the spirits, may you enter when you come in. That's very important. Don't go around just snatching dirt from graves. We don't do that around here. When you come, wrap your head. Do not come with makeup. Do not come with perfume. Do not come with, don't come looking pretty. You're at a graveyard, okay? There's spirits that linger around here, and you can easily pick one up, okay? And next thing you know, you got a spirit attachment because this person wants to be your husband or wife. Just, come on. We got to do better than that. Don't come all dressed up or anything like that. Wrap your head. If you're somebody who communicates with spirits a lot, okay, wrap your head. It is very common that when you are in the graveyard that you might feel some tightness around this energy point. Some people may get a headache. But that's usually letting you know that the energy is a little bit heavy. That's fine. If it's reoccurring after you leave the graveyard, then you definitely want to take a spiritual bath, right? When you leave, and this is something we do in the Caribbean, but you turn around 3 times and it confuses the spirit. So when you're leaving, you could just spin around 3 times and then, be about your way once you're exiting the graveyard. To confuse the jumbi, confuse the spirit so it doesn't follow you home. Do not walk on the graves. There are usually paths, okay? Take the paths. If it's a family cemetery and you need to walk on the graves, that's fine. Apologize or whatever the case is, but don't just go around stomping on the other graves. And most importantly, this is a great spot to do binding magic, to do certain rituals or whatever the case is. It's a very great element. It's a very it's a very misunderstood element. There's a lot of people who think that there's definitely a lot of bad you can do with it, but there's also a lot of good, a lot of balancing things that you can do, a lot of justice work, domination work, binding magic, protection, cleansing. You can do so many different things with the element of the cemetery, and I think it's one of those elements that definitely needs to be utilized a little bit more, and we got to practice necromancy with the utmost respect. When you come, make sure you're wearing white. I know you're like, Kira, you're not wearing white. Don't mind me, okay? You do what you're supposed to do. You do what you're meant to do. Just listen to me, okay? But typically you want to wear white when you come in. White shoes, white head wrap, white clothes. Also, if you're somebody who gets mounted by spirits easily, you can put shea butter, like just a regular glob, like a chunk of shea butter in your belly button and cotton inside of your ears. I just did a cleanse for somebody and had to leave something as an offering. So that's why I look a hot, sweaty mess right now. But I'm going to take a spiritual bath when I get home. I already have everything prepared, ready to go. I already have my working that I'm gonna do. So that's why I look this way. So the point I'm trying to get at is when you are doing certain work, right, using other elements, you can use it. Don't be scared to use it. Don't let people make you stray away, right? That's how you become a good practitioner. It's going to be through trial and error, right? You're not going to learn everything off bat properly the first time. Sometimes it's going to take a little, times where you're like, damn, I should have did this, or I forgot to do this, or whatever the case is. But for the most part of etiquette, just always be polite. Understand that these spirits, even though they're resting, they're not not listening. They're listening. They know what's going on. They're very observant, and just be very respectful. Okay, you're not coming in here yelling, screaming, whatever, ripping up dirt from different. You're not doing that. All right, this is someone else's house. This is someone else's territory. So you're very polite. When you leave, you do your 3 spins. You thank the spirits. When you take dirt from a patch, you thank them. If you're doing some kind of binding and you're leaving it at some kind of rock or something like that, you thank them. Be very respectful when you're doing this work, and you'll understand how much you will thrive when you're doing things properly and when you're not scared. You cannot be scared when you do this kind of work, okay? Necromancy is not the kind of field or magic field that you want to do that you're going to be scared. There's nothing scary about this. It's just very misunderstood, and you need the right people to lead you, guide you, okay, so that you're able to do positive things with that element, right? And that's basically what I'm here to do, is just teach y'all how to do things positively. But I always say salute, thank, and thank the spirit for welcoming you in, the guardian of the gate. Understand that there's multiple spirits that guard a cemetery. There's head spirits. There's a hierarchy whenever you're doing this kind of work, and you have to have a very good understanding of who those spirits are, or at least be very polite if you don't understand, right? But with that being said, thank you for tuning in, tapping in. If you have any questions, I already know I'm gonna ruffle some fucking feathers. I'm always ruffling feathers, especially when I'm doing some kind of work, or especially when I'm doing witchcraft stuff. Anything in the cemetery, I always ruffle feathers, and I have people who get so angry. At the end of the day, I'm still going to teach. I'm still going to guide others, because I have been doing this for so many years now, And every single time somebody's spirit is led to mine, they always tell me, damn, like, thank you for always being real. Thank you for putting me on. You definitely helped me elevate in my practice. You've done this, you've done that. And 9 times out of 10, the people who are always hating and have something negative to say about what I do is not doing any of that. Because if you were, you would be minding the business that pays you, and you would be minding my business. But it is what it is. I mean, I grew up as a person where I was the scapegoat. And not just that, I've always had people who just didn't like me, didn't mess with me, because I'm just very like straightforward. Like, I'm not gonna pretend to be somebody that I'm not. But one thing I know for sure is that I love healing, I love doing necromancy, I love doing witchcraft, I love being a magician. I know what I do, and I know that what I do is like effective, and it helps so many people. So you just got to learn to get out your comfort zone, do what you need to do that's best for you. And honestly, it is what it is. Anybody who has something negative to say, just, you ain't got to watch it then, But all y'all that do watch it, that take the time, to show me love, I appreciate y'all. I really hope y'all know that I really do appreciate you, and I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.